think I'm going to need a bigger boat. Board. I'm running out of room. Hello, this is just a short update on my project board. As you can see, I now have a proper catalytic converter in the middle. You can buy these cats off eBay. They're £16 and 66p. And luckily they already have the thread for the second oxygen sensor. So now when I'm running on heavier oils, I can measure if the cat is actually doing anything at all in clearing up the CO. Right, what I've just been doing, let me get my little tool. Okay, so this tank, as you can see, is around about 29 degrees. So that feeds down into the next tank that is obviously not plastic. Yeah. So this tank and this controller with this 100-watt element in the bottom, that's a 12 volt 100-watt element, can actually get this oil up to about 65 degrees in under 10 minutes. But you must remember, when you are heating oil, yeah, its volume does increase, so you do have to have long chimneys, yeah, because the oil will expand as soon as you heat it. Alright, let's do a temp check on. Where are you? Right, it's 11 degrees. Now, obviously it's going to come out of there at say 60. It's then going to work its way through the oil filter, through the copper pipe, the stainless steel pipe, around here, then eventually to the pump. Now, at 11 degrees, let me put that down. At 11 degrees, it actually, oh, that's just popped out. To pull the oil through, I needed 11 psi of pressure, which is quite considerable, really, to suck it through. This is the little kit that you can, like, when you're self-bleeding your brakes, yeah. But it's perfect for what I'm doing now, pulling the oil through. So it took 10 psi to get it moving, then it dropped to 5 psi to keep it once it was moving, and so that's cold. So once I heat it up, the idea is to get it to 1 psi, which is gravity. Yeah, so it'd be gravity from there to there to there, then down to the pump. Okay, right, I'll keep you updated on when I initially do the... Oh, what I was going to do, I did realise that, okay, it's coming out of there nice and hot, but the heater itself uses such a little amount. By the time it's done its tortoise steps all the way down to the pump, it's going to be cold. So what I've got is 5 volt USB heater blankets coming, so I can wrap one round here, one round here, and heat this whole pipe. So this is not going to look the same as it does now, because it's going to be covered in little heating blankets that I'm going to, I think there's 7. I'm going to wrap around everything and put a 5 volt supply that makes it USB voltage, so I can keep the pipes hot as well before it enters the pump. And once it enters the pump, then it's going to enter in. I might even put one down the bottom where the two supplies meet, and heat that bit of pipe as well, because there was one gentleman that quoted, well, in a message, to say that underneath, as you can see, I've put a little tap on there. The idea of the tap is so I can turn the supply off, and actually I've got a one-way bleed valve on the bottom, so I can just hold the button in and bleed it without risking flooding the chamber with either engine oil or diesel. But the guy suggested that the reason why the supply is so close to the exhaust is to heat it before it goes into the chamber. Then I started backstepping all the way and realised that is feasible. That is feasible. So I need to keep what I've been heating hot. Yeah. Okay. That's all for now. And this all does work. Let me just show you. Oh, I put an RCD tripper on this now because one of these little cheap boxes, the cheap shit you get off eBay for 18 quid, that has a little diodes at the end that obviously do all the transfer of voltage, and it went on my home in the house one, it blew. But not only did it blow, it tripped all the house ring main, which I was so surprised. So there's two types of these converters. Yeah, the one at the top there is 30 amps. That's from Amazon. You know if it's a good one is when you buy it and plug it in, the fan doesn't start up straight away. If the fan is running all the time and it's not pulling any amps, you know you've bought the cheap shit one. Right, let me show you what I mean. Right, so now I've got an RCD on it. Let me reset it. As you can see, the bottom fan is spinning and the top fan is not doing jack shit yet because it's not being asked to. Because there's nothing being pulled. Okay, where are we? Okay, right, 13 volts on there. The reason why I've put a switch on these oxygen sensors is because oxygen sensors have 4 wires, and 2 of those wires is a live and an earth for a heater circuit. So if you've got all this still alive, you're actually overheating your oxygen sensors. So if I put them on now, there we go, there. Yep, you can see them going through their little cycles, and they should come back to 0 eventually. Now if I go down and touch it, it's fucking hot. Yeah, so that's why I've put an isolation circuit on that. I mean, yeah, I'm up to about 2.5 wiring looms so far, as you can see, and it's still getting bigger. Okay, that's all for now. Bye. Running as well. Okay, let me just explain this while I've still got the camera going. So I've got 2 pumps, and these in the middle are just like mixer taps you'd have on your kitchen sink. So I can actually adjust the amount going through. You only need basically it's from off to flowing is 1/4 of a turn. So you literally just give it a twist like that and off you go. And yes, you can run 2 pumps at the same time. You really can. What have we got over here? Okay, so as you can hear, the cheap shitty transformer's running all the time, even though it's doing nothing. I haven't turned on the O2 heaters yet, which is here. So now I'll go through their motions. This is my backup glow plug. So there we go. He's on. So as soon as I hear the pump start clicking, even though it's gone through its normal heat cycle, I then add that. It fires up straight away, no problem. And I've got that adjusted at the moment for 20 seconds. I don't think it really needs any more than that. I've got, you can see I'm heating the oil there, and that's the 12 volt element inside that tank. Still having trouble with oil expansion. It's because if you heat it so quick, it comes flying out the top. It's a right pain in the arse. Okay, let's get it running. Okay, back again. Right, so this is how I'm bleeding the air out my system. So what I've got is a stop tap there, so it's switched off, so I can't flood the chamber. And my copper pipe, as you can see, it's got a little clip on it. It's holding the button in at the bottom. Right, let's get that going. It's a bit hard to hold and reach that. Here he comes. It does make life a lot easier, especially when I'm going to be running the hot oil, because I can just keep holding the button until I feel the actual oil's hot, then I know I'm ready to go. Very simple, and it works. Oh yeah, this is my Adblue setup. So as you can see, it's like a little syringe going in there, and if we follow it around, it goes up to this tank here, and naturally I could just have it on drip mode, so it's just pulling it through and hopefully cleaning the cap on the way through. Okay, next stage will be running. Just a quick follow up to the last bit of that video I done. So buy cheap, buy twice basically. So this is the £18, £19 version. And if you can see right at the let's come back a bit and go in. Right at the bottom there, I didn't even know them little resistors were full of oil. And so this heater was running. It wasn't on startup, it was just running in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden I had pop, and that spewed all its oil out. I mean, it never crossed my mind what's actually in it. I know what's in a car ignition coil, yes, that has oil in, but these little tiny capacitors, well, not capacitors because they're capacitors there, these resistors, to suddenly just blow like that and trip the ring main of the house, that's bizarre. Okay, enough for now. Back to the board, the project board. So once it's in the off cycle, I can do, so it's no longer sending signal to the pumps, yeah? I can bring up the fan and start cooling it down inside. So like yesterday when I flooded it, oh my god did I flood it, it looked like a blown up two-stroke. It was pouring smoke out because I actually had the taps wound right out. And obviously it was wrong because there's no way. I mean, it made a hell of a roar like the old-fashioned space heaters used to do when they used to fire up, because it was getting a lot of squirt in there. Then I put the supercharger in, and it really roared, but I couldn't get it to actually drop the smoke. Even at 14.7, which is the average you would have your car. Yeah, so 14.7 is what your car CO would be, and it's quite happy on that, but not these. This is not designed anything like that. Oh look, it thinks it wants to carry on pulling down. Okay. So somewhere in there in that motherboard is a little chip that says, right, this is how long it needs to cool down for, regardless of what I've just fucked about with. Yeah. So that sensor that's on top of the chamber, I'm not really sure what information that sends, because there's something making it still run even though it's off. So there's a timer in one of those chips somewhere. Okay, well for now the next one will be where you can't see half of it, because I'm going to be covering it up with pigs in blankets, the black ship. It's all going to be in blankets now to keep it hot, including this bloody great oil filter. So even when I was pulling it, that's hot, I was pulling it through yesterday, that filter wasn't hot. Right, that needs to be hot. Well, there's no point bleeding eating it if by the time it gets there, it's bleeding stone cold. So that's the only way to break down the viscosity of the oil to make it flow. Yeah, so you've got paraffin that flows at 28 seconds to fill up a pot 50 ml. These always 35 seconds, and they're both around a flash point of about 60 C, whereas vegetable oil or motor oil is up in the 300 C. So you've really got to get this pretty warm before it wants to actually run on that sort of level of oil. So that's why I'm heating it. I did have this up to 60 yesterday, or no, 65 yesterday. It was cooking itself, but it wasn't pulling it through there, even though it's bled all the way through. Okay, bye for now. I'll update you with the following. Diesel, hot oil running as well. Okay, just a quick follow-on video. So I'm going to have to abort this mission at the moment to sort out these. Even though this oil dump tank came with O-rings and it's actually designed for hot oil, they are leaking. And it's pissing me off, so I'm going to have to strip the lock down, PTFT tape all the joints and put it back together again, because even at 50 degrees and leaving it on overnight, you can see it's trying to drip oil into my got the bloody word, transformers. There we are. Alright, bye for now, update later. I thought just while this is apart and I'm fixing stupid little leaks because it gets so hot, I would show you the 12 volt element. Here it is, 12 volts, 100 watts, made by Durnod. There you go. Whatever 2311 is, I don't know. 23, could be the nut size on the end. The 11, not sure. Okay. Just realised I didn't give you any readings. Okay, so I got it on number 2. Both pumps on. Here's the supercharger. This gives me a pretty good idea because it was about 90 earlier. Now 120. So it was 90 just on the diesel, add the hot oil and the supercharger, and it's jumped up. Right, let's take you to the arsehole. Is it going to light up on me? Come on, where's the light? There it is. It's upside down for you, isn't it? There we go. Well, that's not the end of the world. Okay, hopefully that's the end of this video. It's supercharger working. Out of 20. Back up there. Still control over the chamber, supercharger, and the override on the chamber. So this should be the final video in this saga. As you can see, it's looking a bit different now. So the tank here heating to 40. The tank here switches on 40. 52. I've got an oil filter in the middle of the supply pipes. I realised because it takes such little amount of hot oil at the time it gets there it's cold. So what I've done, I've wrapped all the supply lines in 5-volt heated blanket. So that goes from the top all the way down, around the pump, down to the supply line. That's the taps out there. It has 3 different heat settings by pressing that button there. I can change it from 50 to 40 to 30. So I just put another, I put a USB port on it, running off the transformer. At the moment it's running on both pumps, and I've not even had to bring up the supercharger yet. You see it's running. It's running great. There is a difference between the first one and the second one, and that's because the catalytic converter, as in my previous videos, a cheap chip, £16, it does have a 400 cell chamber, so it's clearly doing something. I mean, catalytic converters normally only work around the 300 degrees, 400 degrees mark. This is only at the front bordering on 200, but it's doing something. There's a motion coming out of the and everything's really okay. What else can I tell you? Oh, what I can show you. Some things here, these are my mixer tabs. Go through a process of trying to work out how many turns out. So I've got a mixer tab here, pressure gauge here. It works out. I've had to paint it. So literally the nature of the turn, the gauge drops. I thought I was going to have more ability to adjust the flow than just length of the turn of the screw, such as life. So the moment, both of these are turned out by 1/4 of a turn, and I have not had to add, as I put on here, extra air. And it's running clean. Yes. I claim it got stink, so yes, it can be done. It's a bit of a long-winded process, but it does all work. I mean, as you can see, even right down the bottom, I've got a blanket wrapped round that supply tube and wrapped in silver foil. This little, obviously that's my blade, so that we can turn it off at the tap, and just put a clip on here, on there, and I can bleed whatever I want. And for my clean down, shut down cycle, the little syringe there is connected to my Adblue tank. And that's a nice steam that I'm going to show you when it's dark then. You see it go through that tap, it comes out pure steam on the other end. And it smells different as well. It smells like, do you know the old buses when they used to pull away, they used to really stink? Well, the new buses don't, they smell completely different. That's what this smells like. Okay, I think I'm coming to the end of it. I mean, it's bloody boiling in here. Having obviously the heat coming out one end, but you have radiant heat coming from that tank, plus the can. So even standing a metre away, I'm getting hot, even though the hot air is coming out that tube. So the whole thing in combination is working very, very well. I don't appear to have any leaks anymore, because obviously, well, I didn't, not obviously to everybody, but when you heat oil, it does expand and it has to go somewhere. Let me just show you something. Even like these little crappy old oil heaters, yeah, you can hear the oil in there. So they must have calculated an air gap to allow for the expansion. That's why you can hear them glug around, because by the time you turn that up to the bigger one, 3 kilowatt, the bleeding thing would explode all over the living room. So they must have taken that into account. Okay, that's for now. Any comments, any questions? They do come through, and I try to answer them as best as I can. Okay chaps, bye for now.